In this video, I'm going to show you 10 things that you need to do to make your next release a big one. Before we proceed, kindly hit the subscription button and the notification bell. Leave a comment, ask whatever question you want to ask. I'm sure to answer it in my next video. Let's go. Tip number 1, get yourself a distributor. The big one at the moment is Spotify. That's the one everybody wants to be on. It's also the one that has the biggest audience. So I'll advise you work with distributors that work closely with Spotify. Presently, Spotify has a whole lot of distributors they work with, from CD Baby to DistroKid. Name them, there are so many of them. Let's move on to the next tip. Get a PreSave link. One of the things your PreSave link will help do for you is it helps you build your Spotify algorithm. When you have a PreSave link, you have an ample time to, distribute those links to people on your contacts. You can promote it on the other social media platforms, telling people about your song and its release date, creating awareness. The resultant effect is your track will have a lot of traction. If your song, is having a lot of streams and all that, the Spotify algorithm will see that your track is getting traction, and from then it will begin to, distribute your song. This is because they will see that people already like your song from that very day of its release. This leads us to the next tip, which is submit to Spotify via Spotify for Artists. Spotify for Artists is a free add-on feature offered to creators. It is basically for someone who has once published his song. One of the major advantages of using Spotify for Artists is that it helps improve your profile as an artist. It demonstrates your authenticity. You can also gather insights that enable you to make smarter decisions regarding marketing and more. Beyond engaging your existing fans, Spotify for Artists also has various tools to help you discover new listeners on the platform. You can also verify your profile to make sure your fans know that it's really you. Tip number 4, update your social media. It's key. These can be simple things like using your Twitter, your Instagram, your Snapchat. Just make sure your social media is up to date so that the people will know at every point in time that you have something coming up for them. This leads me to the 5th point, which is announcing that you're releasing a song. Now, tip number 4 is embedded in tip number 5, but the difference is you're announcing it officially using maybe your video, your artwork or something, specifically addressing the dates that it will be released.
Man, lunchtime, yo.
One of the reasons is people are constantly being bombarded on the internet with contents. So in order to stand out, you must create something that is unique, to you and of course your project. And in creating this content to announce the release, it has to be a content that will, in some way engage them. Another thing is when you release this content, telling them the date and all of that, be sure to respond to as many comments as possible. If possible, respond to every single person. It gives them this sense of connection between you and them. They are your fans, of course. Now, another thing you can also add to the announcement of the release of the song is do a short video of you talking about the song, just so they can get an idea. Now, in doing that, you could take it to the next level of going into your budget now and running a campaign, maybe on Facebook, depending on how much money you have for it. Maybe a 2-day campaign or 1 week, so that you can take this artwork beyond your immediate followership. So with that, you're very, very sure that it's not just going out to your immediate fan base, it's going out to your potential fans. Tip number 6, setting goals for yourself. When you set a goal for yourself, these goals could be a particular number of streams, maybe on Spotify, a particular number of views on YouTube, a particular number of followership on Instagram. You could just set a plan one at a time. It's always advisable so that you will have a track record of your progress. Now, whatever this goal you've set is, make sure you make a background research on how you're going to measure it. Now, this leads us to tip number 7. You need to set time and goal. They work both together. If you set goals without time frame, you wouldn't be able to measure the success. I always advise people do a 2 or at most 3 months timeline. Now let's say you're using a 3 months timeline. You can use the first month to get your pre-saves, your blog features, build awareness on all social media platforms. And in the next 8 weeks, get to monitor how the streams are being built, how you engage your fans, what goal you've achieved, the number of views on YouTube. You get to measure this success 2 or 3 months after you've released it. Set a timeline for this project so that you'll know exactly when you assess your progress on this particular project. Tip number 8, make sure you have updated artworks, videos and pictures of you on your platforms. Go to the studio, take good pictures that represent your style and your image. It goes a long way to represent not just you, but your sound. This leads us to tip number 9, getting blog features. It is very, very, very important we get blog features. These established blogs have very, very, very good platforms for pre-release purposes. The final tip is ensuring you get radio play. In this generation, you cannot dispute the place of radio. There are a whole bunch of people out there listening to radio at every point in time. One other thing you need to consider is a whole lot of artists think it is not necessary to drop your song before the release date. As long as it is playing on radio, it will help prepare people for the release date. Well, if you ask me, it's all obviously understandable when the artist is already a big artist. But for an artist who is still, trying to find his way to the top, you need to air your songs on the radio even before the day of its release. So, these are the 10 things you need to do before the release of your songs. They look pretty simple, but they are really, really not simple. You have to put in that work to make sure you hit your target. When you're diligent enough to follow the tips that I just outlined, your impact will be very, very huge. If you found this video interesting, please hit the subscribe button. Like this video, leave a comment, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let us know which of the tips that worked really, really well for you. This is Mike Central. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.